Hello and welcome back to Suspended Fanimation. I'm your host, Dennis Bethalk, and it's Saturday Morning Blast Off. Welcome, everybody. Everybody in the chat there talking about being linguists and all this kind of stuff. So for those of you who are new and haven't seen this before, this is my weekly roundup of news, like genre news that's happened during the week, and pretty much anything genre you guys want to talk about. Now, what is genre is what you guys ask. Science fiction, fantasy, horror, movies, you name it, you got it. I mean, I consider John Wick genre, James Bond genre, all of that stuff that isn't, based on a true story, that isn't real life. And even some of that can be genre as well, because sometimes, more often than not, kind of like Project Blue Book, they take a real person's life and fictionalize it, and they can do that as well. So that's what genre is. Hello, everybody in the chat. Moo Finobi, Viking Bitch, Pen Farm Girl, Mako, Stanley Tweedle, Pen Farm Girl. Who else is in here? Steve Nyman. And I saw there's a couple other people. I saw there's a new person. Damien. How's it going, Damien? Put the dog down, Damien. Sorry. It's an old Robin Williams joke. Very, very old Robin Williams joke. And welcome to anybody else who comes in. Hey, you just got the alert, thankfully. All right. So what is this blasphemy, Dennis? John Wick isn't based on your true life. I can neither confirm nor deny. And for those of you wondering what the mug for today is, drum roll, please. Da, 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 da. There you go. That is Star-Lord for those of you playing at home. And that may or may not be tea. Who knows? We don't know for sure. So, I got a couple more people filtering in here. And what do we got on tap for this morning? I'm going to go with something a little, excuse me, a little lighter this morning. How about that? It's a good way to start it off, too. The week after the Oscars. Rami Malek, who is on Mr. Robot and also just played Freddie Mercury in Bohemian Rhapsody and won an Oscar for it, is in talks right now to play the main villain in Bond 25. Bond 25 does not have a title as of yet. It is the last Bond with Daniel Craig. I'm disappointed that it's the last Bond with Daniel Craig because I really like Daniel Craig as James Bond, but I understand it's taxing. It is a very physical role, especially the way he's been playing it. And I would love to see Rami Malek. Oh man, ooh, early still, kind of. I don't know. My brain's not catching up there. I would love to see Rami Malek as the villain for Bond 25. I think he can bring a lot to it. He can do creepy very, very well. So I'm interested in seeing what he's going to bring to this. He could also just play it straight too for the the main part. And you had a beer too, Dennis? No, I did not have a beer. Just some butt chugging. That's all we got going on. Brian Fisher says, isn't this Daniel Craig's last Bond movie for the second or third time? No, this has been the one. He was supposed to end it after the last Bond movie. And basically what happened there was it was just after it finished wrapping. He was going out on the press junkets. He was tired, of course, and said he wasn't doing Bond ever again because he was exhausted. He was still running around, promoting the movie, that kind of thing. And he was contractually obligated to do one more Bond film. And he ended up, saying, okay, I'll do it. I'm pretty sure they backed up a dump truck full of money as well. And that's what he's doing. He's doing this as his last one. It's his last contractually obligated Bond role. And I want to see it. I mean, yeah, I know a lot of people poo-poo some of the movies like Quantum of Solace. Quantum of Solace actually plays very well with Casino Royale, and it pairs well. Is it the best Bond movie? No. Is it the worst Bond movie? No. But it's a good Bond movie. That's all I can say. Yeah, I would not have Rami Malek as Bond. No. But a good villain. Yes, I know there's been talks out there about Idris Elba as Bond, and I don't know. They're talking about all kinds of different people as Bond. So yeah, no, Quantum of Solace is not the best book, or not the best movie. Stanley Tweedle, and if I remember correctly, Quantum of Solace was that an original Fleming book, or was that one of the other guy who came afterwards? I can't remember. Oh, Viking bitch, you need to watch Casino Royale if you haven't. It's actually good. It's probably the best Bond movie out of all of them, and yes, I consider that the best Bond movie. So yeah, especially if you haven't seen that one. The last Bond movie that came out wasn't bad either. The opening scene is amazing. I mean, it really is. And I know it's not one continuous shot in that first scene. It sure plays like it because of the clever edits that they did, the digital edits and things like that. But it's really nicely done. Yeah, and people have been doing that, editing out. Is Casino Royale the one with Eva Green? Yes, that is the one, Mako. Yes, and it's very good. But yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what if he signs on as the villain, how he's going to do this. It's going to be a lot of fun. And Mads Mikkelsen, that's right, Mads Mikkelsen. I forgot to mention, Mads Mikkelsen was in a Netflix movie based on a Dark Horse comic, same as Umbrella Academy, called Polar. And Polar is about a hitman. Excuse me, a hitman who has reached 50 years of age, and he's automatically retired by the company that he works for. He's approaching 50 years of age, and it's kind of funny because when he's gonna hit 50 years of age, he automatically gets dividends from his retirement, and he's supposed to get something in a couple of millions of dollars. And the boss of that company is selling its assets to somebody else, and so they're doing a bit of bookkeeping, and they've been killing all the assassins before they reach 50, so they don't have to pay them out. It's a very weird fucking premise, but that's what this is all about: is him, this assassin, being hunted by other assassins, so they don't have to pay him his retirement. And the price of admission alone on this that made me laugh is Mads Mikkelsen in a room with like elementary school kids, showing them how to kill. And it's the funniest damn thing. That's all I can say. Don't sell your ass for cheap. Yeah, Polar was nuts, Brian. Yeah, my favorite scene, the scene with the kukri as well. Exactly, with the kid, and okay, I'll show you one more time. And he's showing the kids how to basically disembowel somebody and slit their throat all in one move. And I love he's passing around the pictures. This is what a guy looks like after sitting out in the sun for 2 weeks. Yeah, it's not pretty. And you see the little kids going, ew, looking at the pictures. So yeah, if you haven't seen it, yes, it has Vanessa Hudgens in it. I'm going to warn you right now. She is probably the worst thing in it, but Mads Mikkelsen is awesome. And Viking bitch, you would actually love this. The woman from Vikings, I can't remember her name, who is the queen. Sorry, I haven't watched Vikings in a while. She is in there as one of the leads as well. She's a assassin. Yes, Catherine Winnick. Thank you. So if you haven't seen it yet, Lagertha, thank you. Yes, I knew there was going to be a whole bunch of people that are going to say Lagertha, So yes, she's in Polar as well. And yes, I am talking about Polar, Marks. I am. I do want to cover that one. I'm thinking about on Sundays just kind of doing some Netflix one-offs and doing it that way. I don't know as of yet. I'll find out more tomorrow, depending on what my brain decides. Stormy Scott says somewhere. There might be. Slurmy. Yes, Polar is awesome, Morks. Excuse me. And very underrated. And it is based on a comic. Dark Horse is actually doing a lot of really good stuff right now. And they are ramping up again their movie productions. It's kind of funny. They really were the first indie comic, if you get down to it. Before Image Comics, there was Dark Horse. Time Cop, you probably remember that movie from Jean-Claude Van Damme. That was a Dark Horse comic. That's what that movie was based on. Was Time Cop was based off of Dark Horse. It actually was a TV series as well on ABC with a person you may or may not know by the name of Bruce Campbell. Yeah, he was in it for, I think, a season, maybe 2, as well. And it's, Dark Horse has a lot of good stuff in there. They, if I remember correctly, they were the ones who did Hard Boiled, the Frank Miller series too. Sin City. They ran the whole Sin City stuff. So Sin City is actually their movie as well as the sequel that no one really talks about because it was bad. And Brian Fisher says, have you seen the trailer for Death, Love, and Robots? Yes, I have. And I've actually posted it a couple times on my Facebook page here. So, yeah, it's on Netflix. It is from, now I'm blanking on the people that are working on it because David Fincher and I forget who the other person is. But it's an anthology series, animated anthology series. It is not for children at all. It is for adults. And it is going to be fairly violent. And I'm looking forward to it. Yes, it is very reminiscent of the Animatrix. I've got the Animatrix someplace over here. I think it's with my Matrix collection. Yes, the first trailer was very fast move for Nobi, and it's done for a reason. They're going for the cyberpunk, the old cyberpunk kind of stuff. It's just us original cyberpunks are too old now for that shit. We need to have shit slowed down for us so we can actually see it a little bit better. I don't know if it looks all over the place. It's not supposed to have a one theme going through it. Well, I mean, other than robots, it's supposed to be sci-fi stuff. That I think is just it, but it's going to be different episodes, a la the Twilight Zone, if you will. And I'm always a sucker for animation and sci-fi, so there you go. Especially if it's well done animation. Yeah, the DC movies as of late, the DC animated movies of late have been really shitty on the animation. Oh, we'll wait for you, Marks. Okay, we're just going to stop here. I'm kidding. We're going to keep going. Brian Fisher says, were they using creators from all around the world? Because that would be awesome, like how they did Batman Ninja. I still haven't seen Batman Ninja. Again, like I said, DC's animation as of late has been really, really rubbing me the wrong way. Stanley Tweedle says, but none of the clips is longer than a second. Yes, I'm too old for that shit. Yeah. Yeah, I understand. I'm still used to it, but it kind of grates on me too. It depends on what day you catch me. It is very kind of weird on that one. Morks come back. They're gators. I don't know what that's in reference to, but there you go. Some good news for me anyway. Clark Gregg has said that season 7 of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is most likely its last season. Thank Christ. That's all I can say. Or Cthulhu or whatever deity or deities were involved with that one. Because damn, that show needed to die back after season 5. Actually season 4 when it was supposed to die. And yeah, Pen Farm Girl. That's the thing that kind of gets me too, is that most likely I think for him it's done after season 7. But I know all of their contracts are up. I think they were done after season 6 and they had to renegotiate. Season 6 and 7 were originally supposed to be just season 6. It was supposed to be 26 episodes and they split it in half. So it's 13 episodes apiece. and season 6 is going to be running this summer because ABC is just basically done with it. The only one that's pushing it right now is Disney. Disney will not let them cancel it. And I think they're just trying to give Jeff Loeb a job at this point because everything else that he's been touching has been turning to shit. Yeah, it probably will get revived at Disney streaming, Nihilus. I'm not surprised. You know, D Plus is probably going to be the receiving ground for a whole bunch of shit that comes out. Brian Fisher says it would make sense with Disney Plus coming out and canceling all the Netflix shows. Yeah, but the thing is, they just signed a deal with Hulu for 4 animated shows. It doesn't make any sense. And they still have Runaways there at Hulu as well. Yeah, granted, they own a bigger stock in Hulu. I believe they're the majority shareholder now in Hulu as well. So they're going to have 2 different platforms, if you will. And I don't know. After seeing Doom Patrol and what you can do with R-rated material on a streaming platform, Marvel would be fucking nuts. Disney would be nuts not to do an R-rated version of stuff on their platform. If you want to bring people in, people like me, because I'm not going to sign up for a platform where it's just going to be PG-13 shit. Especially with Wolverine. I mean, come on. If you can do Wolverine and, you know, ninjas, Night of a Million Billion Ninjas, where he just slices the shit out of them, that I want to see. Brian Fisher says, yeah, it was just cool seeing Japan's take on Western animation. Yeah. Penn Farm Girl says, sadly, Dennis, it's not the worst thing I've watched. Yeah, especially if you saw Cloak and Dagger. Oh, wait, that's still ongoing. That's right. Penn Farm Girl says, I need to break down and get DC to watch Doom Patrol. Yeah, Doom Patrol is freaking awesome. After doing the last night's podcast on it, it's just a fun show. It really is what Titans should have been. Doom Patrol is what Titans should have been. Titans is this dark, wannabe angsty 90s movie that kind of sucks. So, yeah. Well, not kind of sucks. It does suck. Excuse me. Hey, James. Disney, Marvel, Fox should put all their mature content on Hulu. Yeah. Yeah, they could do that. Or they could just put it on D+. Either way. Yeah, Movie Fanobi, I am covering Cloak and Dagger just for you. And you got to be in every single chat when I'm doing it, and for the full duration. I'm going to have 2-hour-long sessions on that one just to break it down. So yeah, exactly, Brian Fisher. Auf Wiedersehen, motherfucker. And I like how she mispronounces Auf Wiedersehen. Yes, I did notice that, and that was one of the things I did notice. Are you trying to kill me, Dennis? I didn't say you have to be there, Viking bitch. I just said that Movie Fanobi has to, because he's the one who keeps wanting me to cover it. He keeps talking about it all the time. Cloak and Dagger watch parties with Fanobi. That's right. He's going to be pinned to the seat with his eyes propped open. We'll be putting drops in his eyes to make sure he watches every single one. And of course, we'll put headphones on him so only he has to listen to it. Who isn't from Fucktopia? Hey, Ricardo. So yeah. Wow, that's dark. No, I was just talking. Come on. You've never seen Clockwork Orange? That'll be my next podcast stream, is just abducting random people off the street and tying them down and making them watch Cloak and Dagger, Clockwork Orange. Just one episode, that's all it is. And it's just, them with the headphones on and with their eyes, propped open and putting drops in their eyes as they watch. Is that a little too dark? Just random people off the street, that's all it is. Whether they like sci-fi and comic books or not. Movie Fanobi says, "Oh wait, just my phone. Phew. I don't want to watch another minute of C&D." Yeah, I know, Steve Nyman. Anyone would rather watch anything other than Cloak and Dagger. I mean, shit, they'd even watch The Gifted over Cloak and Dagger. No, I would never put anybody through that shit either. The Gifted is some really horrible writing as well. But good news, The Gifted most likely is canceled at Fox. Yes. After the second season has finally finished, their ratings are down 40%, over 40% from first season, which were already low enough to begin with. And now it looks like they're finally canceled over at Fox. So Marvel TV is crashing and burning all over the place. Well, yeah, I'm surprised Fox didn't cancel after the first season, given the way Fox is. So now we are gifted. Yeah, we are gifted that The Gifted has been canceled. The Pen Farm Girl, The Gifted is not watchable. It's okay. I'll give you this. It is watchable as long as you can fast forward through it. And you have to be able to fast forward past all the talking in bedroom scenes, because that's what they do. There's a lot of people talking in bedrooms or cars in very, very little action. And the action that is in it is taken from like 90s stock footage and very weirdly shot. It's a horrible show. It's under budgeted. The acting is questionable to begin with, especially by Stephen Moyer. If you go back and watch season 1 with Stephen Moyer sucks balls in that. Yeah. I'm glad. I heard that they killed Stephen Moyer's character off. I'm going to watch that last episode just to watch his character die, just so I can have closure on it. And also gleefully rewind it and watch. Rewind it, watch, rewind, watch. Because I don't know what it was about his character, but I was actively rooting for his character to die on that show. Yeah. Mufino, I'm pretty sure Fox and Sci-Fi do have a bet on how many shows they can cancel in a year. Although Sci-Fi has really toned it down as of late. They were really stupid with The Expanse. I mean, really stupid with The Expanse. But then again, I'm pretty sure they were footing the bill a lot for The Expanse, and they just couldn't afford it. And again, that's NBC Universal who owns Sci-Fi. And they had already taken a bath on quite a few other things, so I'm pretty sure it's the reason why they did it. Mako says, not sure Fox cares about quality. They just like canceling things. Firefly, Gifted, doesn't matter. Yeah, I read something that the only reason why a lot of Fox shows survive that were really, really horrible shows, and I'm talking about the shitcoms that they have on there, was because whoever was in charge of programming, who was higher up in Fox, liked those shows. That's the reason why they stayed. Yeah, and Starz. Starz now under Lionsgate is they're dead to me completely. I don't care that American Gods is coming on there or anything like that. I am not. I'm not dealing with it. Oh, you never heard that before, a movie for Nobody? Yeah, they're called shitcoms. And that's the only thing I'm waiting for. Orville, I want Orville to have a laugh track. At some point in time, I may get bored enough to just take an episode of the Orville and just put a laugh track over it, the entire thing. Especially the last 2 episodes that came out. I know everyone loves these last 2 episodes, but quite honestly, the aftermath of this last episode that they had, I'm fucking laughing my ass off going, okay, so he's responsible directly for thousands of deaths, but you're going to keep him aboard because he may be useful in the future to fight the Borg. I mean, the robot people and all that kind of stuff. Okay, I get it. Yeah. Movie Fanobi says, would you watch American Gods? I know you won't pay for it. No, I'm done with it. It's Gaiman. I couldn't get through the first season, to tell you the truth. I know everyone loves it. I tried, and I'm just kind of done with it. I love Ian McShane. I love Ian McShane, but yeah, there was something about it. I don't know what it is that just really rubs me the wrong way. I'm not the biggest Gaiman fan either. So I really think that Gaiman is highly overrated. and it's a good majority of it's his writing. So, yeah, sorry. I'm the anti-Gaiman, if you will. That didn't sound right, but hey, there we go. Movie Shinobi says, "Hey Dennis, I didn't get through the first season either. I was going to give it another try." Yeah. Yes, Ian McShane is the new Hellboy. So speaking of which, we had a new Red Band trailer that dropped yesterday for Hellboy. Terminator is what I almost said. Excuse me. And I liked it. Yes. Was it finished? No. But I liked it. David Harbour's voice was a little bit weird for me on it because I keep expecting to hear Ron Perlman, and I know it's just my own prejudice on that. I love the Guillermo del Toro movies, don't get me wrong. I love Hellboy. BPRD, Hellboy, one of my favorite comics. And that last line, though, with him and Mila Jovovich, when she says, "Oh, I thought you and I were going to be forever, or we're going to rule forever," and all this kind of stuff. And he goes, "Oh, but it'll never work. I'm a Capricorn, and you're fucking nuts." Yes, it's an old joke, but it still was pretty funny. They need to work a little bit, too, on his makeup, because some of the makeup around his mouth area here was starting to crack in some of the scenes. And you could tell he can't move his mouth all that well. And I'm hoping they're going to go back and touch those up digitally. That's all I can say, because if I can see it on a computer screen, what's it going to look like on a big screen? It was the same problem I had with Holt's character of Beast when he was in First Class. When he first, turns blue, you can actually see all around his mouth, especially his upper lip. It's all peeling away from his upper lip. Because I saw this in the big screen and I'm like, what the fuck? And stuff like that just pulls me away from it. I'm that weird person that notices this stuff. Yes, I will notice the boom mic swing into your shot. I will notice the shadow of the cameraman or the mic stand in your shot. I am that person. I see it on the first try. I don't actively look for it. It just happens. That's all I can say. Oh, and also, by the way, if you take a look at that Hellboy trailer, if you look at the official Hellboy trailer, there is a little link at the end. You can sign up for the BPRD. I don't know what it is at the moment. So for those of you who don't know what the BPRD is, that's the place that Hellboy works at. It's the Bureau for Paranormal Research and Defense. And they actually got it right in this movie. It's in Colorado. They have the Colorado facility, all that stuff. It looks really cool. And I want to see what they're going to do with this marketing campaign. So I signed up for it to see what they're going to do. Let's see what else we had here. We had some people talking about this. Ricardo Aspie says Gotham was very, very good and very bad. Yes, Gotham is its own animal, Ricardo. I don't hold that. That's my guilty pleasure on that one. And like I've said before, I like crap just as much as the next person. Other people are going to like stuff that I consider crap as well. It goes with the territory of being liking this genre stuff. It does happen. There's stuff that hits you, in the right spot and appeals to you. Are you right or wrong? No, it's your opinion. It's what you like. Don't let anybody ever tell you that you're wrong or that you're wrong, for what you like, movie-wise or TV-wise. Don't let them make you feel bad about it, because that's bullshit. Everyone has different tastes. That's just a fact of life. There you go. So, and people who tell you, you're wrong for liking something are just full of shit. They're just angsty little bitches. And need to get over themselves, quite frankly. Pull the stick out of your ass and move on with life. And there's my tip for the day. PSA. The more you know. I should have the little, more you know thing with the star flying by. Pull the stick out of your ass and get on with life. Oh, man. Slurmy Scott says, I kept waiting for one of the robots to say exterminate. It was so day-like. Yeah, I was waiting for them to say resistance is futile. I almost thought Isaac was going to say it at one point, resistance is futile. And I was like, God, come on, man, just say it. And he didn't. Viking bitch says, I'm not a fan enough of American Gods to pay stars after they canceled Counterpart. Exactly. Counterpart and Ash versus Evil Dead. They canceled 2 really damn good shows. So fuck stars forever. Now and in the hereafter. They need an Elseworlds DC show anthology. That would be interesting, Steve Nyman, on the DC universe. Just to do a DC Elseworlds movie. I could see that. I would pay. Well, I'm already paying for DC Universe as it is. I would like to see that. That would be really kind of cool. Just having an Elseworlds series. Yeah, that'd be very fucking cool. Where are we here? Sorry, I lost a little track here. But does it have Nazi marionettes? Is what Stanley Tweedle says. He's talking about Doom Patrol, by the way. That's what the Nazi marionettes thing is referring to. Nothing else. It's pretty funny. Yeah, the Doom Patrol was actually good. Brian Fisher says, I really hope that Dark Phoenix is good, but they have yet to make a good adaptation of it. Brian Fisher, I'm going to warn you right now. So this version of Dark Phoenix was written by the same guy who wrote X3, The Last Stand. And it's essentially the same story with different characters. There you go. It's Simon Kinberg who wrote it. He's the same one who wrote, yeah. I don't have any hopes for it. The trailer was spotty at best. This is the trailer just dropped, by the way, a couple days ago. Dark Phoenix. Yeah, I am not holding out any hopes for it. We do know from the trailer that a certain character dies from an actress who's very vocal about not wanting to be in this series anymore. So yeah, I'm like, yeah, way to give that away in the trailer, man. Just shoot it right out there. There you go. It's done. Why not just have the funeral scene while you're at it too? Because yeah, it was pretty damn stupid. Movie Nobody says, speaking of trailers, did you see the trailer for the Marvel's Death of Mystique? There we go. Someone already said it. I mean, Marvel's re-release of the Dark Phoenix. Exactly. Everything I just said. Man. What else do we have? Viking Bitch says, yeah, there's just no reason to get angry because someone likes something you don't. It's just childish. Exactly. It really is. I mean, like I said, everyone likes different things. And that's why we have variety in the world. Because if everyone liked the same thing, it'd be really fucking boring. You know? We'd all be watching the same stupid TV show. That one TV show would be on 24 hours a day. Or maybe it'd be only on 12 hours a day because that's what everyone wants is just 12 hours a day. Or it might be only on 1 hour a day, and that's all you got is 1 hour, and it's at a certain time on Tuesday at 3 p.m., so no one can actually watch it. But there's no recording devices because no one can agree on, well, everyone has agreed that recording is stupid, so yeah, you never get to watch it. Again, choices. Choices are what everything is made out of. Because if you don't have any choices, you live in a dictatorship at that point. Filthy News says Tim Russ was a Kalon leader. Okay. I don't know who Tim Russ is. Sorry. I probably do, but it's blanking on me at the moment. Pen Farm Girl says, when you add the laugh track, can you also add the Resistance is Futile line? It'll be epic. Yeah, I really just want the laugh track to go on completely, just uninterrupted throughout the entire episode. So when there's something that's dramatic that happens, like when they kill the ensign or something like that, when they space them, and just having the laugh track going over it as they fade out. Because they did a close-up of his body turning in space, frozen and everything. And then, just having the laugh track keep going on. Yes, it is very dark, but Steve Nyman says, like Peppermint with Jennifer Gardner, everyone hated that one. Yeah, I didn't want to see another version of Death Wish, Steve Nyman. I've seen enough of them. And yeah, I wasn't interested in it. They just did one with Jodie Foster not too long ago, right? and then again with Kevin Bacon right before that, and then Bruce Willis did one that I think hasn't seen the light of day. I know it was supposed to come out. I think maybe it did come out. I don't know. I don't remember. But yeah, I'm kind of over the whole Death Wish genre, which is really what it is. In the 80s, of course. So the Death Wish stuff came out from The Punisher, really, from the Punisher comics. So we had, and also the books. There was books that, it's all in that same vein, if you will. So the Charles Bronson movies of the 70s, Death Wish, that spawned a whole series in the 80s, also had stuff like The Exterminator. For those of you playing at home, if you ever went through, I've seen a lot of movies. I've seen probably more movies than I probably should have in my lifetime. I've gone through I've gone through video stores and watched a lot of shit. That's all I can say. So I've seen every different iteration of this, revenge fantasy stuff, if you will. And I just didn't want to see another version of it with Jennifer Garner. Just like I don't want to see Alias get rebooted, to tell you the truth. I didn't like Alias the first time it was around, and I certainly don't want to see it again the second time around. Brian Fisher says they could, with how they wove the canon and titles, Doom Patrol and Young Justice together. Interesting. Filthy News says, I have not yet seen Doom Patrol. I can't hear anything. I haven't given out any spoilers about Doom Patrol in this podcast here. If you want to see spoilers for Doom Patrol and the episodes, I have the first 3 episode reviews up and on my site, or here on the channel. Take a look at them. They are indexed under Doom Patrol. You can find them there, and they're good. That's all I can say. They're really damn good. So you can go and watch it afterwards. I just missed a whole bunch of stuff. Here we go. Brian Fish says James McAvoy and Michael Fassbender is the best part of X-Men. Yeah, you're right. And I was very disappointed that James McAvoy or Patrick Stewart were not going to be in Legion, but we're getting Harry Lloyd as Professor X in the last season of Legion, so I'm happy with that. I can live with that. But I think they're going Age of Apocalypse with Legion for that final season. Oh, Tim Russ is Tuvok. There we go. Now I know who that is. Thank you, everybody in the chat there. That show is on 24/7 as Ow My Balls. Exactly, Pen Farm Girl. That's the show we would all be forced to watch, is Ow My Balls. And if you don't know what Ow My Balls is, there's a great little documentary about what happens to us in the future called Idiocracy. Actually, it's a documentary that's happening right now. But yeah, it's by Mike Judge. Go and watch it. Excuse me. Brian Fish says, I bet we won't hear much Marvel news for a while till after Endgame is released and D23 happens. I wouldn't count that out, honestly. Well, let's see if I have any Marvel news myself. Oh, you know what? Since I was talking about Legion, that is Marvel news right there. Legion Season 3 premieres in June on FX. Yes, we finally got a premiere month at least. Not a date as of yet, but a month. And that came out in the same article as to The Gifted being most likely canceled due to that 40% drop in ratings. But anything else Marvel-wise that I've got in my bag here other than Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.? No, not really. Nothing there. So let's talk about some big news here. Warner Brothers is developing a new Constantine TV show, and they're going to star Matt Ryan in it. Matt Ryan, they're going to bring him back. So, yeah, I am very much looking forward to this because Matt Ryan is awesome. And, yeah, they would be stupid not to bring this to DC Universe. And quite honestly, if you want to do it right, bring it to DC Universe and just have it done. You can do the R-rated version. You can have sex in it. You can have nudity. You can have swearing. You can have smoking. You can do everything. And hopefully it's not CW. Damon, they hasn't said where they want to bring it to. All they just said was that they're developing a TV show and they want Matt Ryan to be in it. That's all it says. So I am really looking forward to that being, like I said, I'm hoping that it's going to be on DC Universe, because that is the reason why you need to just to subscribe to it. Excuse me. Pen Farm Girl says, I will subscribe for Constantine. Yeah, exactly. So, Morks asked, what was the TV show you said Alan Tudyk will be in? Oh, the new TV show that is done by Dark Horse, since I was talking about Dark Horse earlier. It's going to be on Sci-Fi. Sci-Fi has ordered this 2 series now. Resident Alien. Is that right? Or is it Alien Resident? I have it in my notes. Sorry. Resident Alien, there we go. Resident Alien starring Alan Tudyk gets a series order at Sci-Fi. So what this is actually a fairly old comic. I remember this, I want to say from the 90s. And it's about an alien that crash lands on Earth. He assumes the form of a doctor in a small town, and it's a comedy drama is what this is. And it's going to Sci-Fi, and Alan Tudyk is going to be starring in it. Alan Tudyk, excuse me. And I'm looking forward to this again because Alan Tudyk does such good work. I mean, his presence was missed in episode 3 greatly. Even though episode 3 was really damn good, he does make a show. He really does make a show. He has grown so much as an actor in the last, I would say just in the last 5 years alone, that, yeah, I know, Morks, it is on Sci-Fi, but it is Alan Tudyk. And they're supposed to have Con Man on there. I think that's what happened was they didn't do Con Man because he ended up getting this job. And I think that's what was going on. He can't do everything, even though as much as we'd like to. We should just clone him and have him be in all kinds of stuff. Yeah, Viking bitch. If they could do for Constantine what they've done for Doom Patrol, it would be really fucking amazing. Excuse me. And Pen Farm Girl says, I will subscribe for Constantine. Yes. I know everyone will. Yeah, Stanley Tweedle, yes, the Tick is coming back. April 5th. The Tick is coming back. And some villains are going to be going on a spree of evil or a spreevil, as he says. And we get more Danger Boat, too. Speaking of Alan Tudyk, he's back voicing Danger Boat on the Tick. Easily one of my favorite new characters on the Tick is Danger Boat. Oh man, Danger Boat is just with his own theme song, working on, with the techno theme going, Danger Boat, Danger Boat, yeah, I fucking love it. Brian Fisher says, yes, Viking bitch, having no real restrictions on content with streaming on DC Universe has made Young Justice and Doom Patrol so good. Yeah, and this will bring me to my next story, but we're going to pad this out a little bit more. The Tick has no restrictions on Amazon either. So they can do swearing, they can do nudity, violence, what have you. They tone it down, of course, but the Tick has always had an adult level of awareness, if you will, in the comics, in the cartoons, even on the Fox show as well. I mean, come on, you had American Made or Liberty. I can't remember what she was called in the live action show with Patrick Warburton, where she was having sex with the Superman guy who ends up dying during sex, and his heat beams go off and fry her hair. Because, yeah, that's all I'm gonna say. Yeah. Oh man, it was pretty funny that they actually did that, and that was on Fox on prime time at 8 p.m. And yes, the new villains for the Tick, and we get Aegis, Aegis. I never know how to pronounce that. They're finally making their presence known in the city. That's what their area is called, the city. Have they announced a release date yet for the boys? Not that I'm aware of, Brian Fisher. I'm kind of hoping they will. Speaking of which, that's going to be really fucking violent. And from what I understand, they're not shying away from the more, how shall I say this delicately, the more perverse natures in the comic. Because it is Garth Ennis that we're talking about. There is some really kind of questionable shit in that, and they're gonna roll with it. Yeah, it's gonna be disturbing. I'll say that right now. But they talked to the there's especially an actress that's involved in this, and there's one scene in particular that I have in mind, and about what she needs to do in order to join the Seven. That let's just say that alone right there. And they're going with that scene. Yes, they are. No, not all the sex and drugs, Brian Fisher. There is I'm not going to say it. If you haven't read the comic, go and read the comic and you'll see it. It's there. Yeah, they are going there, Viking bitch. Yeah. I wasn't sure if they were going to either, and I read an interview with her, and yes, they are going there. And they said there's a way that they're doing it that is because it's relevant for what's going on now, I guess you could say, and that's how they're going to put it in that light. I'll tell you this right now, when it airs, if it doesn't get protests, then they haven't done it right. That's all I'm going to say. Yeah. Yeah, Pen Farm Girl. I love Batmanuel from Deflator Mouse, as he was known in the comic, and also in the comic and the animated series, I should say. Which I've got the action figure someplace around, and that's like one of the hard to find action figures. So, Deflator Mouse, exactly. And the guy who played Batmanuel was actually the mayor of Gotham in the Dark Knight series, Nolan's Dark Knight series. I believe he was in the Dark Knight. Yeah. He's the one who gets killed by the Joker, if I'm not mistaken. Excuse me. So speaking of being able to do whatever you want on streaming services, you probably realized, I don't know, a lot of people probably skipped the Oscars that happened last Sunday. I did too. Oh, excuse me. One of the contenders for Best Movie was a Netflix show called Roma, or Netflix movie that was called Roma. One of the big detractors to that is Steven Spielberg. Spielberg has been, beating his chest, ranting and raving that Netflix movies should not get the same consideration at the Academy that movies that are released in theaters get. And he is actively trying to block this. Especially in the last 24 hours, he has been very vocal about it, and he's received, and justly so, a lot of backlash from it as well. And he's just doing antiquated thinking at this point. The Netflix stuff, Amazon Prime stuff, is just as valid of a movie as a studio-run production. As a matter of fact, a lot of studios are backing these as well. So I don't understand what kind of bug he's got up his ass about not having. He says they should be only considered for Emmys because they're TV movies, as he puts them. And no, they release them in the theaters. Yes, they are limited runs before they release them on Netflix or Amazon Prime or something like that. But, a lot of these things have good or even better quality production values than stuff that's coming out on, from Lionsgate or MGM or whatever you call, whatever big studio is out there. And Brian Fisher says, does Netflix not use the guild pay scale or something? No, they are all within the same union rules. So there's nothing else that's out there. He just has a bug up his ass. He still thinks of it as TV versus movies. And that's not the case anymore. Everything's blending together. Media is fluid now. And quite honestly, they've been talking about this for a long time, about having first run movies appear, as video on demand kind of thing at the same time they're in theaters. But the Academy has an antiquated rule system, if you will, that if it shows up on the TV before it shows up in movie theaters, it's not valid for an Academy Award nomination. Granted, Netflix also spent a ton more money on Oscar advertising for Roma than any other studio did. They spent $25 million. It was rumored at 50, but there was actually 25 million, which was still like about 5 times more than anybody else. But still. Honestly, Pen Farm Girl, I didn't think that he had been replaced by a pod person. He hasn't done a good movie in a long time, quite honestly. And if you go back and look at Ready Player One, that was a pile of shit. Yeah, I watched it once in the theater and I completely forgot about it by the time I think I made it to the bathroom. When I peed, I think all memory of it just went away with my pee. And yes, Steve Nyman, Roma, I haven't seen it. I've heard that it was really horrible. A lot of Oscar contender movies I consider horrible. So I'm not, I'm not all that surprised by it. But the fact that he's actively trying to force the Academy to do this is just bullshit. I mean, dude, make a fucking movie that's good. You haven't made a good movie in a long time. You've become irrelevant in this world, is what's going on. You've become irrelevant. Yes, you are a standard. You used to be a standard 20, 30 years ago. Not anymore. Sorry to say this. And yes, I know he's an icon. Yes, I know he is a legend, if you will, in movies and stuff like that. Still doesn't mean he's not wrong. Again, opinion on everything. Stanley Tweedle says theaters are dying. Spielberg doesn't want this to be true. Yeah, that's the other thing too, is theaters are dying. I don't like going to the movie theaters to go and see movies anymore. Why? Because case in point, I was at Spider-Man, Into the Spider-Verse, and some fucknut is actually taking pictures of the movie screen with his fucking flash during the movie. Really? I mean, come on. Another one brings a fucking 3-month-old into the theater and it's crying and sitting there. And I'm like, come on. Yeah. So, and it's just because people have gotten used to watching movie theaters in their, movies in their home, and they think they're at home and that they can do whatever they want. Pretty soon they're going to be demanding that someone pauses the movie for them and rolls it back so they can find out what that character said because they were talking about something else or reading a text while the person said something on the screen. As Brian Fisher said, Spielberg had to argue CGI should be accepted in the Oscars. Yeah. And again, there's a lot of stuff that he had to fight for early on in for the Oscars, and he's forgotten about that. He's forgotten that shit changes and that you always want to be going for the new and innovative stuff, and he's not for that anymore because he's become part of the old guard now. Pen Farm Girl says, doesn't your theater pause, Dennis? Only when the power goes out. Yeah, Viking bitch. People bringing children to R-rated movies. Don't get me started on that either. Or, R-rated animated movies, that kind of thing. So they think, oh, it's animated, so it's a children's movie. It's like, no, there's a fucking rating on there for a reason. Brian Fisher said, that's why I like James Cameron and Robert Rodriguez. Excuse me. I did too until I saw Battle Angel Alita. Ooh, that was a rough movie. It was an unfinished movie, really, is what that was. Battle Angel Alita, and don't get me wrong, I'm a huge James Cameron fan. I'm a huge Robert Rodriguez fan. Robert Rodriguez, again, hasn't made a good movie in a long time. I would say 15 plus years since Sin City. I would say he hasn't made a good movie. And yeah, I am. Battle Angel Alita was pretty horrible, quite honestly. It had some really good actors in it too. That's the thing that got me. Ed Norton being in it as the villain, and you have him doing a voiceover, and then all you do is you film these really cheesy close-ups of him looking maniacal, like into the screen. Yeah. Dennis, quick, you're slipping to the dark side. Quick, think happy thoughts. Yeah, I know. All right, all right. I'll switch over to a happier subject. Sorry. I went over to that. So, some good news. Speaking of Netflix, The Umbrella Academy is the biggest digital show in the US. That's right. Why? Because it's damn good. And again, it's a Dark Horse comic. There you go. So, and also it's been renewed for season 2. That was probably one of the quickest turnarounds for a season 2 that I've seen on Netflix. Pretty damn good. How do they measure that? Stanley Tweedle says no one knows because Netflix does not release their viewership ratings of how they figure things out. But I know I want to say that I heard early on, like the first weekend alone, it kind of shattered records about how many people have been watching it. Had watched the first episode at least, anyway. So yeah, I am definitely interested in that. Excuse me. Sorry, folks. Still getting over viral pneumonia. It's been like a month now, and yeah, I just need to get it out of my system, and it won't leave. It's just hanging on. But I'm looking forward to Umbrella Academy, seeing where they're going with it. I mean, the end of it left a lot of questions because it wasn't like the comic. The way it ended was very different than the comic. And interested to see where this thing goes. And also see what happens to Hazel and Cha-Cha as well. Because that's very interesting. But what else do I have here? So, Aquaman 2 has been greenlit for, drumroll please, December 16th, 2022. So yeah, we've got about 3 years to wait on that one, which is kind of weird that it's taking that long. That's going to take 3 years to get that movie out, considering supposedly how much money it made. Yeah, I don't know. Sorry, I'm actually scrolling back up here because I remembered someone had been talking about something. Oh yeah, Steve Nyman was talking about Future Man. So I know you're a big Future Man fan. Maybe I'll try that one again. Yeah, definitely give it a shot, man. It's pretty damn funny. Especially when you get to the James Cameron episode. The James Cameron episode alone is worth gold in the first season. Stanley Tweedle says, I'm waiting for the next run to finish so that I can buy the trade. Oh, for Umbrella Academy? Yeah. I heard the latest run is actually pretty good. I haven't seen it. Yeah, Pen Farm Girl, I do need a scantily clad nurse feeding him chicken soup and taking care of me. Exactly. Yeah. I dress like a peacekeeper for that, Morks. I don't want to know. And yes, Viking Bitch, Momoa is coming back for Aquaman 2. He's contractually obligated to go and be, I think he's supposed to be for the next like 3 or 4 movies. I don't know. I know they sent him like a Marvel deal where he has to be in like 4 or 5 movies. Yeah. So, Yeah, I mean, granted, the first one wasn't bad. It was okay. It kind of had CGI mess, but it was all right. I mean, as far as DC movies go, it was okay. That's all I can say. And that's saying a lot for a DC movie as of late. Oh, so I don't watch the show. I just read about it, but Star Trek Discovery, or STD as we like to call it, has been renewed for a third season. And they've added a co-showrunner to the series. So Alex Kurtzman is no longer going to be alone on this. Michelle Paradise. Oh, sorry. The Originals and The Heart of Dixie. That's what happens when you open up a web page on a live broadcast, is you get pop-ups that start playing automatic videos. Excuse me. But Michelle Paradise is going to be the co-showrunner, along with Alex Kurtzman on that, because and actually she's been doing that part of the second season as well. So it's nothing new. They're just adding it on there, and yes, they are doing a season 3. I know there's some fans in here of that. Again, I haven't watched it. I haven't signed up for CBS All Access. I'm not going to, just because I watched the first episode of the first season. That was it. I couldn't get farther than that, unfortunately. Brian Fish says Aquaman had the Bumblebee effect because the last ones were so bad that anything decent was a miracle. Exactly. And again, it's that cracker effect, man. It's if you're starving on a desert island and someone throws you a cracker, it's going to be the best damn cracker you've ever eaten in your life, to quote Eddie Murphy on that. And if you just keep eating that same cracker over and over again, you're just going to realize just a regular old cracker, that there was nothing special to it, that you're just starving to death. And that's why it tasted really good. That's all. It needs to up the bar a little bit more on these DC movies to compete with the Marvel movies. Marvel movies are the benchmark, and DC hasn't reached anywhere near that level as far as I'm concerned. Stanley Tweedle says, I'm still on the hate train, regretting it every week. I'm sorry. Yeah, I know a lot of people hate watch that show, and I just don't have time for it, nor do I have the money, so I don't want to, I don't want to do it. Mork says, oh, this last episode gave background of where Spock's genius comes from. Thought it was from his education. But anyway, and his genetics and all that kind of stuff. Brian Fisher says, oh, nope, I already read that one. Sorry. I think we lost Movie Fanobi. Maybe his phone died or something like that. So we can talk shit about him now. All right. So the next one is about Titans. Titans, the TV show. And before I say anything about Titans, if you don't want to know about this, or you haven't seen the last episode and the very tail end past the credits of the last episode, you're going to be spoiled by it. So I'm going to say right now, this one's going to be a spoiler alert. So if you haven't seen that episode, plug your ears right now, put me on mute, whatever you want to do. This also is going to have subtitles on it too, which will probably be garbled anyway. But here we go. Spoiler alert. I'm just going to keep the spoiler alert as I say it. Titans is going to cast Superboy on Titans. Yes. So if you haven't seen the very last episode of Titans, at the very end of the credits, we do see Cadmus Labs and Superboy escaping from one of his pods, and takes a dog that's in a kryptonite cage, which looks strangely enough like Crypto. And yes, they are going to be on Titans. So there you go. End of my spoilers. Slurmy Scott says, if you set up Suspended Animation as a business, you can deduct all expenses from taxes, like cost of streaming services. Yes, I know, Slurmy. Yes, I'm in the middle of that kind of stuff. It's just kind of a pain in the ass. That's all. Brian Fisher says DC animated released Rise of the Superman, and it was really good. Covered Cyborg Superman and Hank Henshaw in Death of Superman. Huh. Mako says Discovery is on Netflix here. Yeah, I know that Discovery is on Netflix overseas, and I think on Canada as well, if I'm not mistaken, up in Canada. Here it's not, unfortunately. It's only CBS All Access, and that's all we get, and I can't justify paying for it there. It's one of those things that I'm covering a lot of shows as it is, and to cover one more show, especially one that I'm not going to like anyway, I've read synopsis on what's going on, and it just looks nutty to me, and I can't do it. Especially if it's just going to piss me off. It's not worth my time. Excuse me. Stanley Tweedle says, I have it on Netflix too, and I'm avoiding to watch it there, not to give them a boost. Yeah. Bleak B. Cluet. I know it's on Space Channel up there, which is nice. I'm glad you guys get that. Why watch STD when you've got the Orville? I consider him kind of the same thing, quite honestly. I'm not a big Orville fan. Obviously, if you watch my first 4 reviews of season 2, it just gets progressively darker and darker and darker of Orville as I go along the line. And I was like, yeah, I got to cut it because it's just getting more and more dark about Orville, and I couldn't do it anymore. Otherwise, I was just going to go into a spiral, and I was going to turn to another channel that I left. So you guys can mention it. I mean, it's just not something that I'm going to cover anymore. That's all. And it's kind of funny. I skipped episodes, and I went to, the last 2 here that happened, and nothing's really changed. So don't get him started on the Orville. No, he's turning to the dark side. Viking Bitch says it would have been a hate watch. So yeah, exactly. I had to divorce myself from it. And I noticed myself going into that spiral, and I wasn't about to do it. And I was getting a lot of dislikes on those videos as well. There are a lot of vocal Orville fans that are out there, just like there are a lot of vocal Star Trek, STD fans that are out there as well. And I don't get involved in that. When you have shows that become that polarizing, or you have, a 50-50 hate-like relationship on that, it's really not worth it, to tell you the truth. And then there's shows that people just agree that are horrible, like Cloak and Dagger, and people leave it at that. And there's people that, shows that people really love, like Counterpart, which just get canceled because studios are a bunch of fucking idiots. So yeah, Stanley Tweedle says, for me, you got dislikes too. I understand, man. Like I said, I expect it. People, like I said, all have different opinions. I'm not going to, ban you or dissuade you from putting dislikes on my videos. It's, only if you make personal attacks and stuff like that. And first time I'll warn you, the second time I'll kick your ass out. I'm an old school bartender, is what I look at it as. You know what? You pissed me off the first time. Yeah, I'll tell you about it. The second time I kick your ass out. The third time I 86 you. I have a 3 strikes rule. So, yes, I used to bartend in another lifetime too. So yeah. What's an 86, Mako? Sorry. An 86, for those of you across the pond there, it's actually references an Article 86 is what it is that you can actually ban someone from life from entering a bar or a pub or anything like that, just because they're a nuisance. And it's kind of like having a restraining order in a way, only on a location. So you don't have to write anything up. You can just, post their name, that kind of thing, saying you've been 86'd. You can go through the whole legal ramifications of it, going down to the police station and having it done. officially, but most people just tell them you're 86, never come back here and here again, is what they tell you. And you have to do some really heinous shit in order to become 86 from a bar, or just find the bartender on a really bad night. Yeah. Slurmy Scott says, Dennis the Prude, dude, he isn't cool enough to enjoy Star Trek Discovery, or is the Orville he isn't cool enough for. It's Cloak and Dagger I'm not cool enough for. Or the Inhumans. Brian Fisher says Inhumans targeted people who like shitty wigs. That one's pretty funny. Sorry, man. Oh, God. Yeah, I couldn't finish the Inhumans either. Stanley Tweedle. It was bad. Yeah. Penn Farm Girl says Cloak and Dagger seemed geared to a young audience, but Inhumans wasn't targeting anyone. It just sucked. Oh, and Runaways is perfectly serviceable. I mean, it's got a good cast and everything. It's just a little too YA for me. And I haven't gotten past the first episode of season 2. It just, I think I'm a little too old for it. I know if I was probably in my 30s, I might still be able to watch it, but right now, I'm like, yeah. So, Mork says 86 in math is the number exactly after 85, unless you're Spock. Then it's 153. Stanley Tweedle says it's slogged a little in season 2. Oh, yeah. I kind of figured. Season 1 was kind of a slog as well. I was expecting a little more hero-villain interaction, and I got a lot more YA interaction, which wasn't... I don't need teenage angst stuff. I get enough of that in Deadly Class, which is just the right amount. And then they add a whole bunch of gore to it, which is what I like. Yeah. Season 1 did show promise. The parents were good. They just weren't evil enough. They were only evil. They weren't evil. There's a difference between the two. Mako says after Doom Patrol, it's different to go to average shows. I think that's the problem. The bar is too high. Exactly, Mako. Once you've got a taste of filet mignon, it's hard to go back to just regular old Chuck. That's all I can say. Yeah, it's or for those of you vegans, if you, I don't even know what. Shiitake mushrooms versus portobello. I don't know. Scopola by Viking Bitch says, I have a low tolerance for teen angst. Deadly Class has almost crossed the line for me, but it has picked up again. Yeah, it runs that fine line. And honestly, it's the situations, quite honestly. I'm liking the cameos for the teachers that they're bringing in. Henry Rollins is awesome. And French Stewart, my God, French Stewart. I'd forgotten how good of an actor he is, and just in this last episode, and I still want to use that line with the leash. Give me some slack, motherfucker! I'm in the city. And that they're bringing swearing back to sci-fi too on TV. Thankfully, I think they realized their mistake in editing things out, especially with The Expanse, and their mistake for The Expanse they just didn't have the money for. Quite honestly, but yeah, that they had edited out all the swearing. Now they've brought it back again. I'm happy. Brian Fisher says that's the truth, Mako. After you've seen Legion, Doom Patrol, Counterpart, yeah, and again, this runs counter to what Steven Spielberg is saying. He's saying that you can't get movie quality, out of stuff that's on TV, which is bullshit. You can get that kind of quality, and that's where everything is heading now. You have big screen directors, big screen stars heading to the small screen because you can do a lot more with a lot less and still pump out better quality than what you're getting in the movies. And again, that's what I've been talking about for a while too. Is yeah, you're getting much more quality stuff, and that's what's making it hard for us, people like me that are reviewing stuff, is picking stuff to bring to you guys to watch, and also making the gamble on new stuff and saying, okay, is this going to work or is this not? That's why I watch a whole bunch of different things and pick and choose what's going to come out there, and why I have to look out there and see what the next big thing might be, you know, what might actually grab people, what people are going to interest them, and also what's going to interest me too. Because quite frankly, if it's not interesting for me, it's not going to be interesting for you if I'm telling you about this stuff. High suspenders or high waistlines, one of the two. That also helps. Hi, Andrej. How you doing? Brian Fisher says TV is my preferred viewing method. It gives you more time to explore characters and themes. Yeah, and then also you can pause it too if you need to go to the bathroom, or you know, if your dog needs to go to the bathroom. She didn't hear me. She's curled up on the pillow, asleep at the moment in a little ball of fluff. Penn Farm Girl says, I feel Bright looked like it was equal to movies released in theaters. Yeah. And again, that's because David Ayer has directed movies before, and he went to the small screen. Same thing with Will Smith. He's been in big blockbuster movies. So has Joel Egerton. Joel Egerton has written and starred in and produced and directed big screen movies. They all know what it takes to make these things, and they made something for the small screen that felt like it was something for the big screen. There you go. Hey, rough girl. So yeah, I mean, there is no difference now between what's in the movies and what's on TV, other than quality, to tell you the truth. Andrej Marek says, sweating through a flu, so it could be better, but watching some entertainment helps a bit. Hey, man, I'm sorry. I've been there. I was there about a month ago. As I said, I still cough up here and there now. I've coughed quite a bit during this podcast, as a matter of fact. Brian Fisher says, Altered Carbon looked like it should have been on the big screen. Exactly. But it was a long story, so I don't think that could have been out there on the big screen. What else do I have here that I was talking about? So I did my spoiler, talked about Dark Phoenix, talked about Hellboy. Oh, I got one more little piece of information here. So, excuse me, I don't know if you remember Edge of Tomorrow, that movie with, it was a small movie with Tom Cruise and Emily Blunt that was directed by Doug Liman. Well, there's been talk for a while now of a sequel, and everyone wants a sequel, and you're probably asking, how in the hell could there a sequel to this movie, considering the way it ended? Obviously they found a way, and again, there is word that the sequel is ramping up. Yes, it was also called Live, Die, Repeat in the book. So I actually liked the movie. The movie was really a lot of fun because you get to see Tom Cruise die over and over and over and over again. And that's, who doesn't want that? I mean, that's awesome to get to watch that. But yeah, it was a good movie. It was a lot of fun. And Doug Liman is one of my favorite directors. I will go and watch a Doug Liman movie over anything else. He does some of the best car chase scenes. I know everyone keeps saying Bourne, the very first Bourne movie, has one of the best. It does have one of the best car chase scenes in it because he does that. Go and take a look at the movie Go, which he did after Swingers, because he did Swingers as well. If you go and take a look at Go, which is a 90s movie, there is a escape through Las Vegas. That's a car chase scene. It is the best car chase scene you will see put to film. And I shit you not. Yes, I am a big fan of the Bullet car chase scene too, as well. A lot of different car chase scenes, but that one was the precursor to the first Bourne movie car chase scene. And it's awesome. It is one of the best car chase scene, which has Taye Diggs in there. Breckenmeyer is in there. Who else is in that car chase scene? And I think that's the biggest names in there, but yeah. Yeah, Morks, when the plane lands on the naked guy in the mech suit, yeah, over and over again. Yeah, he's pantless, but he's only got the top part of the mech suit, and yeah, the big plane lands on him. Yeah, it's really damn good, and Emily Blunt is good in it too, and she's actually pretty damn hot in that movie too. She's all like buffed out and everything. But Andrej Marek says, watched Mortal Engines today, and it was surprisingly entertaining. Thought it'd be shitty, but I liked it. Huh. Is that out now on digital or something like that? I know it was out in the theaters for a little while, but you know, I know Peter Jackson produced it, but it looked. I know it was from a YA novel, and again, I know they've been mining a whole bunch of different YA novels, and I'm kind of tired of it. But yeah, so who knows what's going on with all of that. So I've reached the end of my list of stuff to talk about. What did you guys want to talk about, if anything? I know it's kind of quiet right now in the chat, but yeah, again, I wasn't too sure about Mortal Engines. I kept seeing the same trailer over and over and over again, and usually that's a bad sign when you just keep seeing the same scenes. And it seemed like it was the same like 5 scenes over and over again, and but yeah. Oh, you caught it on torrent. Okay, I see. Viking Bitch says, I'm reading A Magica by Clive Barker for the 12th time. I know they will never make a TV show from it, but I love that book. Never say never. Actually, in this climate, probably not. They tend to not go out on a limb there. Who knows? Maybe Netflix might do it. Depends. I mean, yeah, I am definitely looking forward to Love, Death, and Robots. Are you going to watch Captain Marvel? Yeah, Ricardo asked me. I'm going to watch Captain Marvel. It's a Marvel movie. Yes, I know there's controversy surrounding Brie Larson and, you know, what she has said or hasn't said, or what people are inferring by what she says. And quite honestly, I don't give a shit what the actors and actresses say off the screen. All I want to see is I want to see the movie. If your movie is shitty, I'm going to call you on it, you know. But also, the only thing I don't agree with is having Captain Marvel being the most powerful Marvel character now out there, is what Kevin Feige says. I'm like, okay, so you've retconned it, so she's now the most powerful Marvel character. Because the way the movies now are going to go is Captain America is the first superpower being, if you will, in this Marvel universe, and then it's going to be Captain Marvel, then it's going to be Iron Man, so on and so forth. So I'm not, you know, that's just retconning at that point. Stick by your guns. Viking Bitch says maybe shows like The Boys will open up some direction. You know, they always are pushing the envelope. Viking Bitch. I know that Seth Rogen says that his shows are always pushing the envelope, and we've seen that. Preacher definitely pushed the envelopes on AMC. Future Man definitely pushed the envelope as well. I mean, come on, there's male nudity in that stuff, and it's like stuff you really don't want to see. But he pushes the envelope. I'm fairly sure The Boys is going to push the envelope as well. So yeah, definitely. Andrej Merrick says also season 3 of Van Helsing on Netflix was decent, except the ending. Interesting. Gotta head to work. You all have a nice day. See you, Brian Fisher. Good to have you in here. Viking Bitch says Future Man is great. If you're not watching it, why the fuck not? Exactly. Future Man is actually really damn good. It's a lot of fun. And it's what sci-fi parody should be, to tell you the truth. It's a lot of fun. It's smart. It's well written. Again, like a lot of stuff that's coming out on these streaming services. Rough Girl Review says, ugh, I feel like they're making every woman girl on TV a super super bitch or overstrong woman. Some of us are regular. Exactly. Rough Girl reviews. If you really want to see a really good female character, Doom Patrol, Crazy Jane, 64 personalities, but the character is actually very grounded and fairly well written, quite honestly, and isn't coming off like this superwoman or something like that. Actually fairly well rounded as a character, and I'm digging it. She's quickly becoming my favorite character on that show. Mako says, did Timeless have an ending, or did it end with a cliffhanger because it got canceled? Thinking about watching it on your recommendation. It did have an ending, Mako. They had a 2-hour movie that they finished up with, and they cleaned up all their loose ends. They did it quickly because they only had a 2-hour movie in order to clean up everything, but they did clean it up. So there you go. Stanley Tweedle says, don't you feel insecure when people starring in movies have a different political view than you? No, I don't. I know there's some other people that do, but like I said, to each their own. It's one of those things, like I keep telling this, I can't say this enough. Everyone has their own difference of opinion. You don't need to belittle people because they have a different opinion than you. You don't need to do name calling. And that's usually when it devolves into name calling, that kind of thing. You know that person has no good argument to back up their claims. So you just walk away from it at that point, because that person's just being an asshole, really. And yeah. Or people telling you we need to talk kind of thing about what you're watching or what your viewpoint is. Yeah, fuck you. We need to talk bullshit. You know, who are you, dad, mom, whatever? Yeah, you know what? Anyway, Ricardo Aspie says Future Man feels like Jean-Claude Van Johnson season 2. Yeah, it can strangely go off on that route. I'm really disappointed we didn't get to see the last 6 episodes of Jean-Claude Van Johnson season 1. They did the first 6 episodes, and I know there was another 6 episodes out there, and they never showed them. They really should have. Yeah, Slurmy Scott, Future Man, I fucked you. I'm fucking you with your own dick. Very disturbing shit. That, and also eating a dog that someone was going to use for a commercial from the 90s to sell beer. Yeah. Viking Bitch says Jane is my favorite. That role really gives her a chance to show off her acting chops. Yeah. Really does. 64 different personalities, and yeah. Movie for Nobody, I'm back. I know Dennis missed me, and he'll probably wrap up now. We actually talked a lot of shit about you when you were gone, because I did notice you were gone, Movie for Nobody. So I talked a whole bunch of shit about you, but it's someplace within the video here. I don't know exactly where, but you can watch it later on and find out for yourself. Andrej Merrick says, Jean-Claude Van Johnson fills me up with strange feeling of sorrow, similar to anything with Arnie or lately even Bruce Willis, but liked him in Death Wish, so still good. Yeah, we talked about Death Wish early on, Andrej Merrick, and all the different iterations of Death Wish that are out there. I actually talked about that. Stanley Tweedle says, but it had Abigail Spencer, so maybe I'm biased. You talking about the tape that she... Oh, no, sorry, that was a different movie that she was in. Rough Girl Review says, I'll take 90s action anytime, Bruce Willis, Stallone. Yeah, the 90s stuff they did was good. The stuff now... Oh. Yeah. A movie for nobody says, Penn missed me, Morks missed me. Dennis talks some shit. You chuckle fuck, yes. Any avocado lately is what Rough Girl asked. No, just with, meals here and there. There's some avocado in there, but yeah, nothing specific. Ricardo Aspie, if you were interested in the Jean-Claude Van Damme movies, I think it's still on Amazon. Amazon had a series called Jean-Claude Van Johnson, where he kind of makes fun of himself about all those movies, those really bad movies that he did in Eastern Europe, were all covers for his work as a CIA assassin. And that's really who he is. And he retired from that. And now he wants to get back in the business of being working for the CIA again, or a black ops team. And it's pretty damn funny. It's done as a comedy. It's only 6 episodes, so it's not that bad, not that taxing. Unfortunately, it got canceled by Amazon. It really should have gone on, but I'm very, very, very upset that it got canceled. Are those really your glasses? Huckleberry Finn. Yeah, the Huckleberry Finn. Oh my God, Stanley. That Huckleberry Finn remake. It's just wrong. So wrong. Yeah. Man. Andrej Merrick says a film from Gaspar Noé featuring JCVD would be rad. I don't know who Gaspar Noé is. I probably do if I heard some of the movies that they've done. Did Mork survive his gator attack? He may have, because he was back here. He was talking shit about you too. He just, So was Viking Bitch. A couple other people. People that didn't even know you. All right. With that said, if you like what you see here, hit the subscribe button. Also hit the like button. Or if you don't like what you see, hit the dislike button. Stanley Tweedle has. And if you want to see when I'm going to be on live again, hit the little bell. They'll notify you. You got a 50-50 chance of YouTube actually notifying you when I'm on. But those are pretty good odds. Hit that bell there. If you're still on the fence about this, and I guess I've been pointing in the wrong direction, take a look at the videos. There's going to be some videos up here that are going to be taken from my video archives of stuff and matched against what you've been watching. They actually look at your algorithms and they match it to the best video in my collection and post it up here. If you like what you see and you want to subscribe, take a look and hit the subscribe button over this way. So, Mufinobi says, I touched your like button ages ago. I know, it's told me about it. And it said it was very inappropriate, but hey. Mufinobi says, hey, Dennis, how's that frostbite? Oh, right. Weather by the ocean. You know what, Mufinobi? I've got my fan on right now. My ceiling fan going because it's a nice balmy 68 degrees here. And yeah, it's raining a little bit, but it's still at 68 degrees. So Mufinobi says, I touched your like button and Slurmy blasted off. Not sure what that means. Yeah, I don't know what that means either. Oh man, it's 70 here in North Carolina. Wow, yeah. See, and there's another polar vortex coming along the way there for those of you in Minnesota and up in Michigan and all that kind of stuff, up in Wisconsin, in the East Coast and the Northern Territories. So, yeah, 86 in Florida. See, we also get the weather report here too, all around the country and the world. Yes, Viking Bitch, there is another polar vortex coming down. So prepare yourself. That's the reason why I don't live up in that area, because I moved even further south down California because I didn't want to freeze my butt off. Yeah. Yeah, I better stock up on that wood there, Viking Bitch, and just keep the home fires burning. That's all I can say. So, with that said, thank you, everybody in the chat. I know that some more people have subscribed. Welcome to all my new subscribers as well. I'm almost up to 200 at the moment. I'm at 165 last I looked. And I don't know if more people have signed up while I was on here. And yeah, Andrej Merrick, we're in the States. So yes, we do use Fahrenheit over here. We don't use Celsius. I know. I honestly, I'm a little too... I know how to do the conversion over to Celsius, but right now my brain's just not up to it. So with that said, thank you everybody in the chat who came in, and I am going to let you all go for the day. So you all have fun. Oh, and if you want to see when my next schedule is up here, take a look at suspendedfanimation.com. I am going to be updating that schedule fairly soon, probably within the next either a couple of hours or tomorrow. And Monday is going to be Future Man. I'm not doing anything tomorrow on Sunday. I'm debating whether or not to do Netflix stuff on there, but probably not tomorrow. So Monday is going to be Future Man. Tuesday is Project Blue Book. Wednesday is Deadly Class. Thursday is Gotham. Friday is Doom Patrol. Saturday, of course, is what you're watching now. Saturday morning blast off. So that's right, Stanley Tweedle. Nothing tomorrow. I'm taking tomorrow off for a little bit of rest and relaxation. Who knows? I might record something and post something up. I don't know. So we'll see. But with that said, I'm going to let you guys go for the day. Don't forget to take a look at the videos. Just hit the subscribe button over there. And with that said, don't let the door hit your ass on the way out. Otherwise, Steven Spielberg may try to deny you for an Oscar just because, it wasn't in theaters to begin with. See you, everybody. Have a good day.